So let's do another demo here, okay? So we're going to talk to Danielle really quick. There you are. All right, Danielle, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Danielle, let's see here. How old are you right now?
39.
39. And where are you in the world?
I'm in New Jersey.
New Jersey. All right. And so what's going on with you?
Oh gosh, a lot. However, there's one that's chronic that has been going on for a very long time, and it's
Okay.
like severe migraine headaches and like with severe neck tension. Like it starts in the neck, and then that severe neck tension turns into a migraine. Um,
Okay.
and more recently, I've had a severe frozen shoulder that is kind of like all related to this, but the migraines started before that. Um,
All right. Do you have a migraine right now?
I don't right now, but I constantly have the neck tension and
Neck tension. Okay.
yeah,
So let's work on that neck tension.
sure.
Um,
It's like it almost feels like I'm being choked, like it's so like restricted, and
hmm.
it just I've gotten to the point now where it's like anything can cause it, whether it's emotional or physical, and I haven't been able to do any physical activity.
Oh man.
Yeah, like it just seems like that is my area, and now everything is, and I just had something traumatic happen this week, and so it all kind of,
No.
and yeah, so
So tell me something. How long has this been going on?
whew. I remember getting I would say since my late 20s, severe migraines, like regularly, but I've had a few when I was younger.
Okay. Then as far as the neck tension, does that go back to late 20s?
Okay, no, that is, I would say, 3 years.
Oh, okay. Okay. And how would you describe that neck tension on a 0 to 10 scale? How, like right now, 0 to 10, how would you
Right
rate it?
now,
Zero being none and 10 being tight
yeah,
under.
right now it's about a 6, 7. But it's often like a 10, but right now 6, 7.
Okay. All right. So let's see what we can figure out, shall we?
Sure.
All right. So what we'll do, first of all, remember, we like take a moment, ask for help from up above. Okay. So let's just do that right now. Here we go. And you can feel free to join me. And in fact, the rest of you that are on the seminar today, help us out if you want. You know, I always feel like I need all the help I can get. Okay. So here we go. All right. Cool. So that's just a momentary thing. You know, it's funny because when I was in practice, I had this habit of asking for help because it was going into practice was was really a God thing. And it was an answer to prayer, really, for me, a really powerful answer to prayer. So when I got into practice, I thought, well, God's gotten me into this. Maybe he'll help me. And so I developed this habit of just asking for help. I never told anybody, nobody during all the years I was in practice for about, I don't know, roughly 20 years, never told anybody that I was actually kind of saying a short prayer, just asking God to help me with them. It was just a momentary pause, totally private, totally personal thing. Now though, I try to teach it to everybody and make it a point to teach it, because when you ask for help, that's when things really can start to flow, and we're so much more powerful when we're connected to the power that created the universe rather than just being disconnected on our own, right? So, all right. Anyway, so here we go. Let's see. So, first thing I want to know is, can I act as proxy for you? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So temporarily, my name is Danielle. Is that true? Yes. Okay. My name is Brad. Not anymore. Now, you'll notice I didn't specifically disconnect from, let's see here, from the last person we worked on. And that was,
Kathy.
Oh yeah, Kathy, that's right. I didn't specifically disconnect from her. There she is. I didn't disconnect from her because my subconscious mind automatically, I've done this for so long that it automatically makes and breaks connections for me by itself. So yours will do that too. So let's ask, all right, is there a trapped emotion that we can release now that's contributing to your neck tension? And the answer that we get is yes. Okay, cool. So now what do? Well, we go to the chart. Is this emotion listed in the chart here in column A? No. So that means it's in B. So to narrow B down, we'll ask if it's in an odd row or an even row. Is it an odd row in B? It is. Is it in row 1 in B? No. Okay, so maybe it's in row 3. Is it in row 3 in B? It is. All right. Let's see here. So is it in row 1? No. Is it in row 3? Is it in row 5? It's in column B, row 3. So it's one of these emotions right here. Okay. So is the emotion confusion? No. Is it defensiveness? No. Is it grief? It is grief. Okay. So it's a trapped emotion of grief. And so now we've identified the emotion with no problem, right? So now if you follow the little arrows, it takes us here. So this is the next big $1,000,000 question. Is it necessary to decode more about this emotion? And the answer is yes. So that takes us here. And what do we need to identify? Well, let's see. Let's find out, first of all, maybe when it occurred. Okay. So you said you're 39. This is grief. Did this occur earlier than age 20? No. So it occurred between 20 and 30? Yes. Between 20 and 25? No. Around maybe 26? No. Maybe 27, 28, 29. I'm getting around age 29. Now, here's the thing, okay? When we go back like this and we find an age, it's generally accurate within a year, give or take. So chronologically, you might have actually been 28 or maybe 30, but it's sometime around in that zone. Now, every once in a while, it'll be 2 years off, but it's usually within a year. So if you think about what was going on in your life at that time, where you were, what your relationships were like, or if you were working or not, or whatever it is you were maybe going through, something happened that created kind of an intense emotion of grief for you, apparently. Does that ring any kind of a bell?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things that come up. My grandmother passed away at that time.
Okay.
I I felt very peaceful about her passing.
Yeah.
So, and I also moved during that time.
Okay. All right. Fine. Well, we figured out the age. Now remember, anytime you establish one of these data points down here in this area, okay, what you want to do is go back here and ask the same question again. So is it necessary to decode more about this emotion? So we do need to know a little bit more. So this emotion of grief, you said your grandmother died. Did it have anything to do with that? It did. Okay. So now we know a little bit more. We've established another data point, right? We know you were around 29. We know it was about your grandma's death. Do we need to know more about this still? Yes, we do. Okay. We need to know more about this. So sometimes what happens is we absorb emotional energy from other people. Okay. And that's usually the next question. If you figure out the age when something happened, okay, and you still need to dig deeper, a lot of the time it's because the emotional energy was actually absorbed from somebody else. Let's ask, was this your emotion? No, this is somebody else's emotion. Was it a male's emotion? It was a female's emotion. But it had to do, it was another female's grief, but it was related to your grandma's death. Does that help at all?
Yeah, I'm thinking my mother, and I just feel I've absorbed so much from her.
Maybe. Let's find out. Was this your mom's grief? Yeah, it was actually your mom's grief.
And
Yeah.
she's in my opinion, unable to show emotion and has had a lot of trauma in her life.
Yeah.
My mom.
Okay.
And I feel like
Well,
I'm the one processing it all.
yeah. Well, yeah, that happens sometimes. All right. So now, so we established another data point, right? We know it was absorbed from your mom. So now anytime you establish a data point, you want to go back here and ask this question, okay? Is it necessary to decode more about this? Or a slightly shorter way of asking it is, do we need to know more about this emotion? Do we need to know more about this? And now I'm getting a no, so now we can release it, okay? So this will be interesting because we're going to see how much of an effect this emotion has been having on that neck tension. So let's release this. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And now, did we release that? We did. I want you to go ahead and stand up now and move around a little bit if you can, okay? Stand up, walk around a little bit. Now, when people are in pain and we release a trapped emotion, I like to have them get up and move around a little. Now, this is an optional thing. You don't have to ever do this. Why do I do it? I do it because when we release a trapped emotion, oftentimes bones are moving around, things are shifting and settling into new places. And if you get up and walk a little, it just kind of helps everything to fall into, their new positions. So 0 to 10, how would you rate that now? Just out of curiosity.
Maybe 4 or 5.
About a 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let's see if there's another one, okay? So same question up here. Is there a trapped emotion we can release now that's contributing to this neck tension of yours? And the answer is yes. Okay, let's go to the chart. Is the emotion in column A? Yes. Is it in one of the odd rows? Yes. Is it in row 1? No. Is it in row 3? Yes. It's in row 3. So it's one of these. Is the emotion crying, or is it discouragement? Is it rejection or sadness or sorrow? It's not any of those, right? So that means the answer was unclear. So now we're going right here. We're going to ask, was this an inherited emotion? Anytime you have a hard time getting an answer, if you're in a cell and you just are having a hard time figuring out what the emotion is, ask if it's inherited. The subconscious mind will take you to the column and it'll take you to the row. But then until you use that magic word inherited, it won't really be able to take you any further because it wants you to know, hey, this isn't just a regular run-of-the-mill emotion. This was actually passed down the line. So is this an inherited trapped emotion? And the answer is yes. So is the emotion, is it inherited crying or discouragement or rejection? It's inherited rejection.
I knew you were going to say that.
You knew that was going to be it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and that's your little intuitive inner voice, right? You want to pay attention to that because that can take you all over. It can save your life. Inherited rejection. Did you get this from your mom? Yeah, okay. And did your mom get this from somebody else? Yes, from her mom. Ah, okay. Came from your mom's mom. And does this go back even further? Yes. How many generations? 10. Does it go back 20, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11? It goes back 11 generations. And did it start with a female? It did, okay. So what I'm going to do, just for fun here, I like to use 26 years for a generation. I mean, it's kind of give or take, but 26 years for a generation times 11 generations minus 2022 comes out to about 1736, give or take, approximately. I think it's fun to figure out.
Yeah.
It's fun to get an age and see how far back this goes. Started with a female. We've done the genealogy now. There's nothing else really we can ask about this except we could ask, do you have kids?
No, stepchildren, but no biological yet.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and release this then. Now remember, it's inherited, so we do 10 swipes, right? All right. And do we release that inherited trapped emotion? Yes. Did it clear from your mom and from her mom? Yep. And from all those ancestors all the way back? Yep. And all right, cool. Now stand up and walk around a little bit and let's see how that's feeling now compared to how it was feeling before. All right. So 0 to 10, how would you rate that your neck now? If you look around, maybe put your look up and down and turn your head and tilt it and so on. How's it feel now compared to how it was feeling before? It was about a 6 or 7, went to about a 4 or 5.
It's like a 2 or 3, and I'm like super giddy. And like when the grief came up, I was almost gonna cry. But
Yeah.
and then like it came, intense. And now this whole process, I feel super giddy, and my cats were like just staring at me, like they knew something was happening. um, so yeah, I'm like
Cool.
I just want to laugh. There's a lot of
Awesome.
laughter.
Yeah. Well, think about that rejection. Now, see, the interesting thing about this is, you've had that inherited rejection, and that energy, see, you've had since you were conceived, right? We get them at conception if they're inherited. That's how we get them, along with DNA and everything else. That emotional energy has been in your neck, I'm assuming. Is that true? Yeah. So it's been right in here. You've been wearing it like a collar, kind of all this
Yeah,
time.
that's how I describe it. Like I
Yeah.
have a collar around me.
Yeah. Let's do one more, shall we?
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of fun. All right. So same drill, right? You guys are getting this. It's easy. You already know how to do it, but we're going to talk more. So is there a trapped emotion we can release now that's contributing to your neck tension? And the answer is yes. Okay, cool. We'll go to the chart. Is it in column A? It is. Is it in one of the odd rows? It is. Is it in row 1, column A? No. Row 3, column A? No. Row 5 in column A. So just that fast, we've narrowed it down to 5 emotions out of 60. See, the emotion code is the fastest. It's the fastest gun in the West. It's the fastest way to find things like this. So is the emotion blaming? Is that what it is? No. Is it dread? No. Is it fear or horror or peeved? Okay, none of those. So it's another inherited emotion. We'll just do this quickly here. So is it inherited? Is this an inherited emotion? It is. Is it inherited blaming? No. Is it inherited dread or fear? Okay, it's an inherited emotion of fear. All right, inherited fear. And did you get this from your mom? No, this came from your dad. Okay. Did your dad get this from somebody earlier? Yes. From his dad? Yep. Came from your father's father. Does it go back even further? It does. How many generations? 10? No. 9? No. 8? No. 7? No. 6? So it goes back 6 generations from you. So about 150 years, roughly, something like that. So do we need to know, let's see here. Well, did it start with a male or a female? It started actually with a female. So I'll just write that in here. Started with a female. And once you figure out the genealogy, that's all you can really ever figure out with these. And so there's nothing else you need to know. So let's release this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And did we release that from you? Did it also release from your dad? And from his dad? Yep. And from all those generations all the way back? It did. Okay. All right. One last time, Danielle. Stand up, move around, and let's see how things are. Fun. So what's so great about this is that it's easy to do, and it works at a distance, right? All right. So how would you describe things now? What do you think?
I feel free. I'm getting like 0 to 2. Like
Okay.
maybe I want to say 0, but sometimes it's like hard to like,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
understand.
like wow, could it be? Um, I just feel free, and I feel like it kind of the last one, it kind of moved in my hip a little bit, like, but I feel it moving in my body, and I feel
Okay.
freer up here, like it's balancing out or something.
Yeah. Well, now, one of the things that we'll talk about a little bit later is something we call processing. So when we release emotions like this, it typically takes a day or two for the full effect to really happen. And during that time, people are going through what we call processing. And sometimes people will have symptoms from that, from as those echoes of those emotions are felt. Sometimes people will cry for a day or so, or they might feel like they need to sleep more, or they might have a little bit harder time sleeping. Things like that. If you feel kind of emotionally up and down for a day or so, don't worry about it. That's part of the processing. But again, it takes a couple days for these things to heal. It's kind of like if there's a truck parked on your foot, we just push the truck off. All right. And so, wow, there's some relief there, but also your foot might need to also heal from maybe being squished.
Right, right.
All right, awesome. All right, thanks, Danielle.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
we may check in with you again later
Okay.
and see how things are going. All right.
Thank you.